Hey everyone, Sean with Families Creating Financial Freedom, and today, very important topic, 4 ways to protect you and your family from an economic collapse. You don't want to miss all the points, and at the very end, I'm going to connect you with a resource that I think you'll find very valuable. So you want to pay attention all the way through. First and foremost, so do me a favor, if you find this content very valuable, go down, follow the channel, like the video. It helps me out immensely, and it keeps me in your YouTube feed for any of those other videos I put out. I try to put out 1 to 2 a week. So a few months ago, I did a video on how much of an emergency fund should you have. That video has really kind of taken off a lot of comments, questions, feedback about having an emergency fund and fears around not being able to save enough, the value of money, etc. Just a broad range of topics. I'm going to link that video at the very end. And then a couple of weeks ago, I did a follow-up to it about diversifying your money. Should you, shouldn't you, in your emergency fund? Should you include gold and silver? That video also has been of interest. I've gotten a couple of interesting education tips myself, so I'll try and link that as well for you. So the question is, what can you do to kind of protect yourself and your family from an economic collapse? Let me first define an economic collapse. When I think of an economic collapse, the first way I would define it is you losing your job and needing to use other resources, have other resources to pay your bills, keep your family going, and protect yourselves. Another definition of an economic collapse could be something broader, like a widespread depression, where everybody is struggling financially, maybe a loss of their job, their income, any number of things. So you can define an economic collapse in a very broad way or very narrow way, and I would say no 2 ways are wrong. It's really however you want to look at it. But what's the first thing you can do to kind of bulletproof your family, so to speak? Number 1, know your numbers and work to reduce your spending, your debt, things like that. Be efficient. Every year you should be auditing your subscriptions to things like your cable bill, your cell phone bill, your utility bills. What can you do to reduce that number? A lot of times it's not something that's on you, but calling and asking them what kind of new promos or plans do they have that can reduce what you're spending. Tell them you're shopping around, you're looking at other options, and you want to see what they could do for you, the loyal customer, before you explored other things. That also goes to speak for your auto insurance, your home insurance, anything that you have a bill for. You should be auditing at least once a year. Number 2, you should also, I like to say, bulletproof your employment. Whatever you do for a living, and maybe you enjoy it, maybe you don't. Either way, you want to make sure that you always have an advantage over your peers from the standpoint of employability. If a large company suddenly had a setback, an economic downturn, and they had to lay people off, they may decide that who has the greater skills, who adds the greater value to the company, those are the people they want to keep around. So what can you do to add to your value? Are there courses or trainings to enhance for you? Or can you keep your resume up to date, add those trainings and courses, so if your company had an issue today, tomorrow, you're out there looking and you are very hireable, so you can hit the ground running. That's very important. important that what I say, bulletproof your employability. Number 3, I'm looking at my notes. I don't want to miss something. Know your numbers, know your budget. A lot of people out here, I know for a fact, pay their bills and don't know what everything looks like. You need to know your numbers. Failing to plan is planning to fail, and that, my friends, is a good example of an economic collapse. In the comments, I'm going to include several links if you haven't already. I recommend that you join my Facebook group. You also can go down, and if you don't have a budget and if you don't really understand how to go about it, there's a link to my course. It's a one-time fee. It's nominal. It'll give you a spreadsheet, help educate, take you through the process of establishing your budget, and some tips and tricks to audit all your spending so you can be more efficient. I tell my clients as a financial advisor, it's my job to watch your pennies and nickels without putting pressure on you, because then it's funny how the dollars add up. If we're taking a look and finding efficiency in your bills and in your debts without altering your lifestyle, then potentially we're finding excess money that you can then put towards my 4th and final tip for protecting yourself: having that emergency fund at home. If you're saving more money, then you're working towards building up that emergency fund faster. A lot of people have commented to me that they just don't have the excess money to reasonably build emergency savings. I get it. Like hourly wages aren't really going up as fast as expenses and the cost of living. So it's getting harder and harder. So what can you do? You can find efficiency in where you spend and then be more effective with your savings. That is budgeting, that is auditing your subscriptions, and then really being on top of it. Once you're in a rhythm, it doesn't take a lot of effort, but I recommend, if you haven't already, you need to start right away. Protect yourself, because first and foremost, you're the only one that's going to protect yourself. Somebody else isn't going to jump in and say, hey, I'm really sorry that this happened. Let me help you out. You are responsible for yourself, so let's get on top of it. I hope this advice has been helpful. And like I said, in the description, you're going to find a link to my budgeting course. I'm also going to link those 2 videos I referenced. Follow this channel and like this video. Until next time, take care.